is that we constantly think that we have a better solution. So the smart Jewish people that unfortunately many times are not smart when it comes to their eternity, they're more smart about what's going to happen as far as to increase their bank account and their reputation. He says that we don't understand, we still hold on to this dying democracy, but this will not help, and this does not actually have any real value. But apart from all of these isms, which are shared by all nations, we're blessed with an exclusive Jewish ism, meaning there's a special ism that just Jewish people are part of. This is a nationalism that aspires to bequeath to the people of Israel a redemption, both material and especially spiritual. Its aim is to set up a new Hebrew people, which will know how to shake off from itself the dust of the preceding generation. Meaning, this new Hebrew people is not going to be connected to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, to Rabbi Akiva. No, you're going to be a Hebrew people, but not the ones like the old timers, Middle Eastern. No, that's not. New ones, new version. This new ism is a new version. What is this ism? This ism is going to try to shake off itself from the dust of the previous generation and proclaim the verse in Amos chapter 6 verse 10. Hush, do not mention the name of God. Its plan of action is also very simple: to drive God out of the house of Israel and from the hearts of the children of Israel. And if you ask, who will stand up for us in the time of trouble? They will come and reply, ourselves. We're going to defend ourselves. As the verse says, my power and the might of my hand. Who are we? These are the leaders of our national youth, the heroes who brought about a state of war between the Hebrew people and the kingdom of heaven. Who is this? Zionism. The whole goal of Zionism, Rabotai, is simply to destroy Judaism. That's what Zionism is at its root. The founders of Zionism and many of the strong followers of Zionism, their main goal was simply to have the Jewish people have their own ism, but not because of their connection to the Torah, just because of the culture. Many of these Zionists were atheists, heretics, and some of them were actually Christian missionaries. Meaning, the worst of the worst. Most important job for them, destroy Judaism. And that's why I did a lecture in Hebrew recently, and I gave some facts, some stories from their own history, from their own books, these Zionists, whether it be Herzl or the other Reshaim that were on his team, before or after. What was their goal? Destroy Judaism. They clearly said themselves, Judaism and Zionism have nothing to do with each other. In fact, where Judaism ends, Zionism begins. Not as a continuation of Judaism, but rather as something completely separate, that has nothing to do with it and wants nothing to do with it. Many of them converted to Christianity, converted their kids to Christianity, like Herzl himself. He converted his son Hans to Christianity. They didn't even give him Brit Milah. When Hans, before he committed suicide, he wrote a letter, a public letter that came out. It says, all of you knew that my father's plan was to convert all of the Jewish people to Christianity, just like he converted me. But yet nobody said anything. Before the guy killed himself, he told everybody the truth, who his father really was. But until this day, Rabotai, they don't teach us in Israel. They don't teach us in schools. I took a Zionism class in college. I read a book, 1,000, 1,500 pages, giant book. We had to read a lot for this class. None of this stuff is in it. A lot of other stuff's in it, but not this, what I'm telling you. This you have to find in specific books written by these Reshaim themselves. They just don't highlight this stuff. They teach you that the Zionist mentality, no, it's because we love the country and we love this. It has nothing to do with that. So now, the Zionists of today, many of them are not to that same level of extreme, but some of them are. Some of them are actually even good religious people, but they're call themselves Zionists, but they're not the same type of Zionists. So there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of confusion of what, who, what, when, and how. But generally, just so you know, Zionism at its core is anti-Torah. So, here Rav Wasserman talks about all of these different things that the Zionists are trying to do before they really got into power, before they really started torturing Am Yisrael. When did the torture start by the Zionists, the true torture by them? After World War II, after the Holocaust. In 1948, when we got a country, when we got the right to our own land, to Israel, the Zionists were the strong leaders. So they wanted to put a constitution together for the country. They refused to put the name of God in the constitution. The Jewish country refused to put the name of God. They didn't want to put God in there. Nothing to do with God. The religious people came, no, we're part of this country too, you have to do something. Secular Zionists, no God in the Torah, no God in the constitution. What did they settle? The word tzur. Tzur, as I told you, means rock, which is another name for Hashem. But to the Zionists, they settled on this because to them, tzur meant the army, IDF. Refused. They hate the Torah so much, they refused. But when it was useful for them, Ben Gurion went there in the UN and said, listen, what gives you the right to the land? He picks up a book. What book? The Tanakh. If the Arabs were given wisdom, they would say to Ben Gurion, okay, the Tanakh says that this is the right, but Tanakh also says keep Shabbat, keep Tarat Mishpacha, keep this. How come you don't do any of those things? If they would have responded with that, we wouldn't have Israel. Now, the reality is, it's good we have Israel. Baruch Hashem, we have Israel. A lot of good stuff is in Israel. But the point is, are we living up the promise? Do we have it for the right reasons? So, this is a battle with no end. But the point is that Rav Wasserman knew about a lot of the stuff that's going to happen from the Zionists before it happened. Once Israel became a country, everyone from the third world countries, like Yemen, different Middle Eastern countries, literally thought that the Mashiach came. So they got onto planes and they started coming and putting their life on the line, going to a desert for 2-3 months just to go to Israel, because they thought the Mashiach came. As soon as they arrived, what was the Zionist first job? I just told you, remove God from their life. So what did they do? Said, no, now you're in Israel, no more mitzvot. They start cutting these young kids' peyot off, take off the kippah, no more tzitzit, no more tefillin. They took their sifrei Torah, burned them. How much worse than Nazis? Opportunity to make money. These Yemenite people had babies. They took the babies. Said, yeah, your baby died. They sold them to Americans, did experiments on them. They killed people. You look at pictures of these people, they look just like Nazis. But, technically, halachically, they were Jews. So, Rav Wasserman saw all of this before it happened. A decade, 2 decades before it all happened. Until this day, there's a huge case in the courts of Israel about Yaldei Teman, the lost kids of Yemen. Babies that were stolen from their parents, young kids that were stolen from their parents and told to their parents that they died, and they really didn't die. Or some of them did die, but they killed them. These reshape. Point is, all of this is in books, all of this is real, it's not a conspiracy, it's in the courts till this day.